which is unfortunate. What this kind of like leads to the next kind of question. What if you're like a normal person, I guess, and you have an actual interest in like political power, so like securing some level of political power that can make a measurable impact in your community, what actions can you take to change people around you, or what can you do? I guess personally, if you want to see that kind of change, I guess what would you recommend for people? Is there like a killer like 3-step plan to get you and your friends like politically active? Like how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, well, the number one thing is, and this is why it's sometimes hard to go from like online community to offline community, is that all the power offline is highly localized. And, you know, it's like, how many people in your neighborhood can you bring to a thing, right? And, you know, if not your neighborhood, then your city, and if not your city, then your state. But, you know, I think we all know this, but like getting, you know, we'll just keep on the policing for a second, because it's really interesting, right? It's like, we basically, you know, Black Lives Matter started really online, and, you know, it did generate a lot of in-person protests and all that. But like the thing that is going to sustain that is just like really hard work in municipalities being like, here's how we're gonna change our police force. So we are going, you know, body cameras, you know, public accountability, whatever. And to do any of that work, you need sustained involvement of a few people in a community. So, you know, when I think about my own political work in my like volunteer time, I think a lot about, okay, I can spend time on some like commission doing something, but like how many friends do I have that I can bring with me when there's like that public meeting? You know, how many like community leaders, you know, like religious leaders, business leaders, and, you know, business leaders doesn't mean like some billionaire. It just means like, you know, it could be like the guy who owns the game shop or whatever, you know, just like how many people who like, how are we going to be taken seriously? And so I think that always thinking about, and you know, when I talk about the organizers that I kind of follow and really admire, they're all like counting people. I mean, it's like they're not thinking about like how many facts do they know, and that's sort of like how we think about politics online. You know, how many facts do I know about what's the latest hearing? They're like, how many people can I get to do this thing, right? And so, like what that requires is essentially, it doesn't necessarily require building offline community, but it does require building localized community. And it's really hard to get anything done without that.